Welcome everybody to the What Can You Do session of the White Oak webinar series. This is where we're going to talk about a number of things that landowners can do to improve their property for a wide variety of objectives that they might have. And the reason we spend a bit of time focused on landowners is that 82% of forests are in private hands. And that's about 200,000 landowners that own more than 10 acres of forest land in Missouri. And in addition to that, 91% of the wood harvested comes from private land. So private landowners play a critical role in habitat management for wildlife, as well as our forest products industry. And one of the first things I ask landowners is to define what you want from your property. To me, this is one of the most critical things for you to think about. And for example, do you want certain kinds of wildlife on your property? Many landowners will just say, oh, I just want wildlife on my property, but different kinds of wildlife require different kinds of habitat. So if you want to manage for deer and turkey, they're very mobile. So, you can have certain kinds of habitat on your place and your neighbors have different things going on there. And the deer and the turkeys, they're going to wander around and pick and choose where they want to be. But you might try to manage for a wide variety of things in your place, so everything they need is right there on one piece of property. You might be interested in having some really old trees for cavity nesting birds such as owls. Or you might also, depending upon where you're located, want to manage for ruffed grouse, especially in central Missouri, where you need to create some early successional habitat. And then, of course, a wide variety of habitat that's going to benefit a wide variety of species. Now, some people just want to emphasize hunting experiences on their property. And the two biggies tend to be deer and turkey. Whether you want trophy bucks or simply to present some opportunities so your kids can hunt and kill themselves a deer, squirrels and rabbits. And you may not think about quail as something you want to manage for on your property or from a forested property, but many pieces of property have fields intermixed. And if you got fields and forests in combination with one another, you can manage that forest to provide some early successional habitat for quail. And if we can ever figure out how to manage for morel mushrooms, I think we'll have everybody beating a path to our door to learn about that. Many landowners simply enjoy their woods for hiking and nature viewing. In that case, aesthetics might be critical to maintain on the property. So any management done must really take into aesthetics to a large degree, especially keeping some flowering dogwoods going in the understory, or whether it's fall color, maintaining some trails, providing some scenic vistas for a variety of non-game wildlife, or habitat and cover, to have some maidenhair fern out there, things that just add to the scenic beauty of your woods. And many landowners are looking for income from their woods. So a wide variety of opportunities there too, whether it's alternative forest products like shiitake mushrooms or specialty wood products through a small sawmill that you might have, or some custom sawing, traditional timber sale income, or income from managing some high value walnut trees on your property. So the first thing I recommend you do to get started down this management journey is to get that technical assistance from a forester and have them visit your property. Now that can come from a Missouri Department of Conservation forester or a Missouri consulting forester. So MDC foresters are those that work for state government, and their services are typically free. So you get a hold of them and they come out, visit with you, walk your property, and give you some advice. A consulting forester charges for their services, but there are certain things that the MDC forester may not be able to offer or in a timely manner, and certain things you'd want a consultant to do for you and then contract with them to implement on your property. And we'll talk about that more in a minute. So they're going to walk your property and get you started on your management journey. If you want to reach out to an MDC forester, just contact and engage. You would pick your county, and then that would give you a list of the MDC staff that work in your county. So here we've got Angela George. It says responsibility forestry. So if you had some specific forestry interest and concerns, Angela would be a great person to start with and talk to. If you want to meet with a consulting forester, you go to MissouriForesters.com, find a consulting forester. You could pick certain services or things that they offer, but I'd really recommend you go to the part of the state, pick where you live or where your property is, hit next. You can select any member, submit search, and get a list of foresters that work in your part of the state, provide assistance to your part of the state. And really, our ultimate goal here is we'd like to see you actively manage your woods. You know, whether you own 10 acres or 1,000 acres, you know, your management can make a difference when it comes to critical wildlife habitat. So your next step might be to work with that forester then to develop a forest management plan for your property. Forest management plan would look at the entire wooded acres and associated lands. Takes into account your objectives that I discussed, such as you want a deer and turkey paradise. I want to generate income, some periodic revenue. I would like to manage for a variety of songbirds, perhaps. Inventory of the woods would take place. That's what the forester would do. They would write descriptions and prescriptions to meet your objectives. That's basically what does your woods look like and what are your options in terms of management of those areas within your woods. And it would also take into account a review of rare or endangered species. So you'll know if there's any special habitat types out there and potential species on your property that would use that habitat, and you can take them into account. Not sure you're ready for a full-fledged forest management plan that looks at everything on your property? That's all right. You might want to dip your toe in the water with a practice plan, and many foresters like to promote this with their landowners to just start with a practice plan. So this considers one activity on your property, just one thing that you want to do just to get started. It could be something like forest stand improvement on a few acres, or it could be invasive species control on a few acres. Just to do the practice, see what it looks like, and see what you think before you commit to a full management plan. So perhaps that practice that you're thinking about is going to be some thinning or crop tree release. This is where we're going into a stand that looks kind of like this here, which is dense, small diameter trees, pole timber 4 to 10 inches in diameter. Usually these trees might be 30 to 40 years old at this point. And we're going to thin this out to dead and poorly formed or poor growing trees to benefit the remaining trees. This opens up the stand. Those remaining trees tend to grow a little faster. They tend to stay a little healthier. And it opens up this understory down here with this ground layer to give a little more sunlight down here so that it can grow and flourish a little bit more, which is good for a wide variety of wildlife. One of those practices that you might decide to do is going to be a mid-story removal. So a mid-story removal, we're going to come in here, we're going to take out the elm, the hickory, the ash, if there's any left after emerald ash borer, and perhaps if there's an overabundance of dogwoods or redbuds, things of that nature, to open up this mid-story. And that gets a little bit more sunlight down here to the forest floor so that we can recruit oak seedlings and other understory vegetation that'll be good for wildlife. A little bit more in depth might be developing some of this early successional habitat on the right. So we have this mature saw timber stand. Hopefully we've done that mid-story removal to get rid of a lot of what you're seeing here in the mid-story that's shading the ground cover. We have ample oak regeneration. I also encourage you, this is where you want to definitely be working with a forester, either a consulting forester or an MDC forester, to help you with a timber sale. And so you would harvest groups of trees to get more sunlight down here, and that then gets you this flush of growth. And while this might not look as pretty to some as that mature stand of timber, this provides a lot of excellent wildlife habitat. And having a combination of this early successional habitat intermixed with your more mature timber provides tremendous more opportunities for wildlife on your property. And a very in-depth project that you might decide to do, and I'd recommend that you get a pretty in-depth management plan, And restoration plan would be woodland restoration. So you have a spot on your property that has some mature trees, semi-mature trees, I would say, but you want to develop this lush, herbaceous understory that would be native grasses and flowers, most likely, as well as some shrubs. And so this might require a combination of practices to make this happen. That's why it may not be one to start out with to dip your toe, but something that once you're committed to work on, because you're probably gonna have to do some thinning, some mid-story thinning, maybe even some overstory thinning through either pre-commercial forest stand improvement or possibly a timber sale if you have enough volume. You may also be doing some invasive species control in here, prescribed fire to maintain it, fire break development. You're also going to need to get a burn plan and probably attend the burn workshop. So a lot of commitment here when you're doing woodland restoration. But the whole idea, of course, is to thin this out, open it up, get a little bit more sunlight to that forest floor, get that herbaceous layer growing, and then use periodic prescribed fire on maybe a 3 to 6 year or 8 year interval to maintain this open understory. Now, how do you get all this work done? And we've been talking a bit about technical resources. Technical resources are those foresters that you would either hire if a consulting forester or seek out advice from an MDC forester to help you plan the work. And then there would be financial resources through various cost share programs that I'll talk about in a minute. You might want to look at hiring contractors to help you get this work done. There's also your time, you and your time. And how much of that do you want to commit to do the work yourself? And then there's associations and organizations that can also provide you some advice, direction, and assistance. So as I mentioned, for financial and technical resources, there's MDC through their Landowner Assistance Program and NRCS, Natural Resources Conservation Service, Environmental Quality Incentive Program. These programs provide cost share to landowners to do a wide variety of practices, and I've only listed a few of them here. So it might be plan development. So there can be some funding to help you get a written forest management plan. Forest stand improvement, as I mentioned, prescribed fire, invasive species control, and tree and shrub establishment could all be items that would be cost shared or provided financial assistance through these programs to help you get them accomplished on your property. So again, if you wanted that MDC assistance, contact and engage, Callaway County, I picked again, and then you have a list of folks that could help you, guide you through that process of getting cost share assistance. And they can also push you in the right direction if you want to get NRCS cost share assistance as well. But the other opportunity for NRCS cost share assistance is to go to the nrcsusda.gov website and go to contact, find a service center. You put in your state, the county, search on that, and that's going to give you your local service center. So for Callaway County, that local service center is in Fulton. We've got an address. We can get directions. Go on by, and if you have your forest management plan and you want to implement it, you would take that in there and talk with the contact there, and they would help you fill out your EQIP application to get you going on cost share assistance through NRCS. Now you get some cost share assistance, you're ready to implement some practices, and you might decide, I'm going to work with a contractor. I want to find somebody to do this for me. I don't have the time to do it myself. We send a lot of folks to the Missouri Consulting Forest Association, again, because many of these folks will also contract with landowners to get the work done on their property that's in their management plan. So again, find a consulting forester. At this point, then, if you know specifically that, oh, I need somebody to do timber stand improvement here. So you click on that. Then you can click on the area of the state that you're in. And then you can get any member that fits those criteria and have a list of folks that can assist you with your property. Now, you can also look at your own time and invest in your own time in getting these practices done. So you can implement the plan, but a contractor can probably do it faster. But as the landowner, if you want to take the time to learn how to do forest stand improvement or to conduct your own prescribed burns on your property, these things are perfectly acceptable. It's just that it takes a lot of time. There's a learning curve. And if you got a large piece of property, A contractor can probably do it faster. But if you're thinking about prescribed fire in your property, then there's an organization that might be able to help you as well to get that done. So in Missouri, there are prescribed burn associations. A prescribed burn association is a group of landowners and other proactive citizens that form a partnership to conduct prescribed burns. Association members pool their knowledge, manpower, and equipment to help other people in their association conduct prescribed burns. So essentially, you would become a member of the association. Usually there's a small fee. You would invest a little bit of your own sweat equity helping other landowners with prescribed burns. And then you would be eligible for landowners then to come out and help you with your prescribed burns on your property. So to find these folks, you'd go to moprescribedfire.org, click on Burn Associations, get a little pull-down menu, locations, gives you a map, and everything in a solid color there. That's where there's an active prescribed burn association. Places with hash marks, they are having conversations about developing a prescribed burn association. And the white space, unfortunately, are places where we do not yet have a prescribed burn association. But that might be an opportunity for you if you live in one of those locations to maybe try to get together with a bunch of like-minded individuals, along with a representative from these associations to develop a prescribed burn association in your area. I also like to encourage landowners, become an advocate for forest management. After you get a lot of experience, you've been managing your property, you are the greatest spokespersons then to help encourage other landowners to do management. So you can do this by becoming a member of the Forest and Woodland Association of Missouri or the Forest Keepers Network. And you can develop your property to demonstrate sustainable forest management. So these organizations provide additional technical assistance and outreach to landowners. They are good groups for networking with other landowners. And members can help guide you through the process of developing your property to be a demonstration area, and then assisting you with field days to open that property up, your property up, to other landowners. This is simply something that if you want to take that next step, it's not mandatory by any means that you do that, but definitely an opportunity and would be a tremendous help to promoting forest management in Missouri. You can become a certified tree farm. So this is recognition for the good management you are doing. It demonstrates that your property is being managed to an internationally recognized standard of sustainability. Should you have a sale, timber sale, forest products could be marketed through certification chains. And of course, as I mentioned before, especially through the tree farm program, there are opportunities to network with other tree farmers and other landowners. As always, thanks for being with us today. We appreciate your time. Thank you for viewing the video. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. I'm Brian Schweiss, Sustainable Forestry Specialist with Extension Natural Resources. My phone number, 573-882-4775, or email me at schweissb@missouri.edu. I would be happy to put you in the right direction for a forester, provide you any advice that I can give you on forest management, and look forward to hearing from you about your forest management needs. Thanks again for attending.